the UK is trying to do to tackle extremism and to tackle Islamic State. I think there is a view that its bargaining power is actually getting stronger.
Really? Well, just before actually we come to you, we welcome our viewers in Scotland who've been watching First Minister's Questions. Welcome to Daily Politics. What do you say in response to that? I mean, in the end, it is all about support, different tribal, if you like, different tribal allies getting together to try and protect themselves in the Middle East. That is the reality of life in that region.
Well, I think what Israel needs to understand, and certainly in terms of the megaphone diplomacy that we've seen too much of from Prime Minister Netanyahu, has got to understand that if it wants to be part of the Middle East, the family of the Middle East, then it needs to learn to be able to live in peace with its neighbours. And that's why, if we're looking at the Gaza conflict last year, I mean, let's remember 1,500 Palestinian civilians killed, 500 of them children. The United Nations has come out with an inquiry there that's required everybody accused of human rights abuses, both Israel, yes, and indeed the Palestinian militant groups as well, should cooperate in holding those responsible to account and cooperating with the International Criminal Court in their inquiries. I think Benjamin Netanyahu would do Israel a lot of credit if he said clearly he was going to cooperate with that. Sadly, the messages that have been coming out of his office have gone in entirely the other direction.
Do you accept that Israel lost the moral high ground? I mean, rightly or wrongly, but they lost the moral high ground in that offensive in Gaza. Israel claimed that there were tunnels being built in order to send suicide bombers. Hamas and people from within Gaza Strip were saying it was because of the unfair and cruel blockade and that people will literally be prisoners in their own land. But in the end, public support largely went to the Palestinians over that issue.
I'm not sure there was a great deal of public support in Britain for Israel in the first place, but I don't accept that Israel was morally at fault. I think Hamas was at fault for firing rockets onto Israel from Gaza and using civilians and civilian areas to launch those rockets from, thereby endangering members of their own population. I don't think you can expect Israel to act more peacefully and to take the initiative when on all sides they're being fired upon and when on all sides they're surrounded by people vowing to destroy Israel, such as Iran.
There's a very important point, I can say about Gaza, which I think we really need to look back to sort of what happened in 2005, is that Israel was in Gaza and it left Gaza as a concession for peace. So Israel was not occupying Gaza anymore. It handed it over to the Palestinian Authority and said, right, you're in charge, let's have peace and coexistence. What happened? 2 years later, Hamas took over in a coup and they started firing rockets into Israel. No rockets, there wouldn't have been a blockade. We've got to be careful about inverting this. There is only a blockade because there were rockets.
I mean, actually, the historical narrative doesn't actually bear that out.
Which bit doesn't it?